Welcome to r/RedditRevenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone after being wronged. And today we have 3 great stories. So subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. The store where we wanted to buy a refrigerator deceived us. They did not expect that we would take their customers and sales. The second story. I helped a friend get a new car after the dealership was scammed, and I threatened to sue. The third story. HOA associations held a private party for children, so the directors of the partner organization decided to throw their best open party for everyone. Today's first story is Bye Bye Best Buy. This just happened recently. My refrigerator compressor, the part that pumps cooling fluid to make the fridge cold, broke down, and it would cost $2,500 just to get a new one. So my parents said, yep, we're getting a new fridge. The first place they went to was Best Buy, and we're able to find a new fridge at a pretty decent price. They said it would be ready to deliver by Wednesday this week. Perfect. Or so we thought. The next day, we get a call that the fridge we were supposed to get hasn't even arrived at the store yet, and won't be here for a few weeks, so naturally we were very mad. My dad immediately went to find another fridge for sale at a different store. This time, he went to Lowe's and he found another one with a better price than the one before, and Lowe's offers free delivery and will be here by Friday this week. My dad bought the fridge, but my mom wanted to double-check Best Buy again, despite what happened, to see if she could get a lower price, so they went back and sure enough, nothing. Now here's the part where we got some petty revenge on Best Buy for lying. As they were leaving, a different couple was already arguing with a manager for, ironically enough, the delivery time for a new fridge. The manager said that they won't get their new fridge until after Christmas this year. Yes, I'm serious. My dad happily chimed in on the conversation and told the couple that Lowe's can deliver a new fridge for a lower price in 2 days. It should go without saying that the couple and a few other customers followed my parents out of the store. Edit. 1. Best Buy did lie to my dad because they said the new fridge will be at my front door by Wednesday, and he did already pre-ordered for it. But when they called to say that the fridge that we bought was not even at the store, yet my parents wanted a refund. They also told us to expect more delays, which we were not happy, as we were promised quick service. They failed to deliver. 2. I'm still counting this as revenge because that manager was actually trying to keep customers. According to Dad, they were trying to sweet talk that other couple into a deal in exchange for a long wait. When my dad intervened, it was over for him. He could tell that he wasn't happy. Edit 2. Also brought to my attention is the fact that people are telling me that something is off with the price for the new compressor. $2,500. We did call a mechanic to inspect the fridge. When it busted, he said the compressor was the issue, which broke the whole thing. They said that a new compressor plus the labor to install it would cost $2,500 including tax. There's no effing way we're doing that. And you guys are on to something about this price being too much, but they won't go down. Also, the old fridge is an LG smart fridge, which broke down right before the 5-year warranty expired, but LG is trying to put it off like we have to pay everything. The mechanic did mention that because of this, LG is getting sued. Hundreds of people who have an LG smart fridges are experiencing the same thing. So yes, we did have to buy a new fridge and we unfortunately didn't get a refund, because as I said, LG doesn't want to pay for it. Update. Lowe's has delivered the second new fridge safety and on time without any issues. This fridge also has a new warranty, so we'll see how long this one will last. Moral of the story, don't lie to your customers, it's bad for business. The next story is how I got a car dealership to give my friend a newer car. Circa 2020 January, my friend makes a stupid decision and buys a brand new car he can't afford. His insurance is like $400 a month. He makes like $10.25 an hour working as a shift supervisor at McDonald's. His car payment is like $795 a month. Now at $10.25 an hour, 30 hours a week, that's a weekly income of about $300 a week, or about $1,230 a month. So yeah. So my friend came to me for help because I used to sell cars and know the industry pretty well. I go over his paperwork. The dealer did rip him off, but my friend is trying to find a way to get out of this mess. And ripping someone off isn't illegal. They did of course overcharge him for warranty. They gave him a higher APR. They had add-ons, etc. But none of that is illegal, and I know the only way I can get my friend out of this deal is if they did something illegal. So I look at his finance application that my friend signed. It correctly listed his income, which turned a light bulb on in my head. No bank is going to approve someone for a $795 car payment if they're only making $1,200 a month. It does not make mathematical sense to do that. So I start searching through his paperwork for the finance app the dealer submitted to the bank. You oftentimes, when you submit a finance application at a dealership, the dealership will take the hand-filled-out application and reproduce it electronically. This is pretty normal. However, on the application the dealer submitted to the bank, the dealer said my friend was a GM of the McDonald's and made $70,000. My friend had good credit, so it doesn't appear like the bank asked for proof of income. So I go to the dealership with my friend and tell the sales manager he's going to want to put me in touch with the GM, because we're going to be unwinding my friend's deal and giving his trade-in back. The sales manager thought I was joking. The GM also thought I was joking. Then I demonstrated how his dealership finance department committed bank fraud. I showed the GM the finance app my friend filled out. I then showed the GM the finance app his dealership submitted to the bank and pointed at the income difference. My friend really made $14K a year. The dealership claimed my friend made $70K a year. That's bank fraud. That's a felony. Let's keep this simple, shall we? The GM sees his dealership is in a load of SH. The proof I'm presenting to him is rock solid. He knows it, I know it, we're all on the same page. He goes, okay, so what can I do to make this right? I go, unwind the deal. Give me my friend his trade-in back. Unwinding the deal is basically the GM agreeing to cancel the deal, and basically erasing the deal and pretending it never happened. GM tries to avoid that, but I remain firm and remind him we can easily take this documentation and turn his life into a living hell. He knows I'm right. My friend also needs a car to get to work the next day. The GM says he'll check into it. He comes back and tells me unfortunately they sold his trade-in already. I said that's fine. Unwind the deal and let's put my friend into something as good or slightly better than what he traded in for. So the GM goes, so he'll buy a car similar to his trade-in? I said no, you'll give him a car similar to his trade-in. The GM goes, it doesn't work that way. I go, it does when you commit bank fraud. GM is upset with me and I remind him. I'm being really nice and this situation can totally get really ugly. Like felony level charge is ugly. Like losing your franchise ugly. So yeah, this is gonna hurt, but it's going to hurt less my way. So the GM goes alright and he looks in his inventory, and he tells me they have a 2007 Focus with 10K more miles. I tell him no, the car you give my friend needs to be the same or better than what he trades in. The GM counters, I'm giving him a free car, and I go, no, you took his trade-in, you sold it, you made money on that sale, you also committed a felony in the process of selling him his new car. You're now correcting that mistake. This isn't a free car for my friend, this is a you are correcting your mistake. GM insists at what he's willing to do. I tell him if he can't do better, then that we will go to a customer protection attorney and have a conversation with them. My friend didn't want to go this route, but it was our plan B. We get up. The GM says, wait, give me a second. The GM goes, I have an '08 Civic. It has 5K more miles, but it's a Civic and not a Focus. I unwind the deal on the new car and put your friend in the Civic at no extra cost. We agree. GM has the paper drawn up. The old loan on the new car is canceled. They take in the new car again, but because it's already titled, they'll have to sell it as used. That sucks for them. And they gave my friend a better car than the one he traded in. For people asking why we didn't get a lawyer involved from the start, we could have done that, but courts take a long time, and this was a faster way to fix the situation. I think both the dealer and my friend came out on the better side. The dealer probably lost a few thousand. I'm not sure what they sold my friend's trade-in for. I'm not sure what they paid for the Civic they gave my friend. They also had to take my friend's new car and refund everything and sell it as a used, where I bet the biggest hit was. But also the dealership avoided court costs, etc., and my friend kept reliable transportation. Edit. I used to sell cars and I know this practice is rampant. Hell, sometimes it can even be a good thing in certain circumstances. I'll give you an example of where I used this same method to help a lady out. Lady was living with her parents with a child. She had just left an abusive relationship. She needed a car to get to and from work. However, at the time, she wasn't making very much, maybe like $1,000 a month. Her car payment was going to be around $300 with insurance and maybe $150 to $200. However, she was close to graduating college, and her parents were financially helping her a lot. She had no housing costs, no food costs. Her parents really helped a lot. But they weren't willing to co-sign on the car note, so their income could not be factored in. Banks really don't like giving a car loan to anyone making less than $2,000, and more like $2,500 a month. So I changed her income from $1,000 to $2,500. A few years later, she came back to me and bought a second, much nicer car. She had finished college, got a good job, and was doing well for herself. The last story is, no Halloween party for everyone? Okay, we'll make our own. I just heard this story from someone I work with. Not a coworker of mine, but the director of a partner organization, who we'll call Evelyn. Evelyn's organization, a community nonprofit that provides behavioral health prevention and treatment services, is located in a desirable and tourist-focused area of the state that has a wide disparity in income levels. It's the kind of place that everyone wants to live, but few can afford to. You'll find enclaves of rich folks living in luxury surrounded by neighborhoods of poorer folks, many of whom work in the service industry serving the rich locals and tourists. 5 or 6 years ago, she heard that every year one local HOA in a wealthy area threw a bangin' Halloween party for the kids, with lots of free candy and fun things to do. Sounds great. There was just one problem. Only the mostly white kids whose families lived in that HOA were allowed to attend the party, and the HOA was very strict about it. One side of this neighborhood is bordered by a public park, where both kids from the HOA area and the surrounding poorer streets, mostly Latino families, play together. For their Halloween party, the HOA set up barricades on their side of the park to block kids from the other side coming over, and even had adults stationed around the perimeter to keep non-HOA kids out. What this ends up looking like is unfortunately nothing new. The rich white kids have their own exclusive party, and the poorer kids of color get nothing, even though the rich folks have plenty to share. Of course, the HOA isn't legally obligated to let people who don't belong to the HOA attend their party. But ethically, it's a pretty gross move to exclude children from a holiday celebration in their own neighborhood just because of what street their family can afford to live on. Now, being the director of a nonprofit that serves mostly lower-income people, Evelyn is very passionate about inclusion, so when she heard about this, she was not happy. She's the kind of person who will do anything in her power to correct an injustice, no matter how small, so she went directly to this HOA to complain. She wrote emails, attended public meetings. Edit. Typo still kind of applies. To speak to them. Anything she could to convince them it was unfair of them to be so exclusionary. But unfortunately, the HOA wouldn't change their minds. They just kept reiterating that these other families don't pay HOA dues, so we're not letting them into a party that is paid for by those dues. So Evelyn thought, fine, if these NIMBY effers are gonna keep gatekeeping, then I'll have to step up to fill in the gap. So her nonprofit started holding their own annual Halloween party, an even bigger, better one where everyone is welcome. Plus they give out the best candy. At first, mostly the poorer kids who were excluded from the HOA party attended, but soon word got back to the other kids about how awesome this Halloween party was, and they started wanting to go too. Now years later, even the HOA kids would rather go to this party than the HOA one, and after attending both parties, they all tell their parents, the neighborhood one was kinda lame. I like the organization one better. Their annual Halloween party has gotten so popular locally that starting this year, they'll be throwing a December holiday party too. And as always, everyone is welcome. Edit. I may not have been clear in the way I described the park situation. The HOA did not block off access to the park, just the street on the side of the park that was in the HOA area. All the kids could still go to the park. The HOA just put up a barrier between the park and their street. So the non-HOA kids still had access to the park. They just couldn't come into the HOA area bordering the park. Edit 2. Like I said in the post, it isn't new or unusual for HOAs to do stuff like this. That doesn't make it right. It's still exclusionary to the kids who live the next street over who aren't allowed to attend a party happening in the streets of their own neighborhood through no fault of their own. I don't know if the organization never did anything Halloween related before or not, but they do host other community events like this from time to time. I hope you love these stories. Subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching.